Welcome back to the Christian&Cowboy Podcast. As always, joined by Cowboy. I'm Christian. How are you doing today, Cowboy?
Not too bad. Can't complain. How about you?
Allergies suck. Yeah. My throat has been sore pretty much since noon today, and it's just very annoying. It's more annoying than it is painful.
Kind of a weird time of year to have it.
Yeah, it's weird. Honestly, I'm not that stuffed up. It's one of those, and I got like drainage in my throat, but it's one of those things where it's the drainage where you feel it in there, but it's just stuck in there and you can't get it out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get mine in the spring, though, not in the fall.
I get mine pretty much any season change, so.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll go away. Maybe the cold weather that's blowing in here, the really cold weather that's blowing in here to our great state, we'll make it go away somehow.
Yeah. So initial, just overall thoughts on UAB?
No, I don't really have any. I mean, I'd say the best way to put it would be that's what we probably should have saw against Georgia State.
You had to say that, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still liking what I'm seeing from the defense more than anything. I mean, that's got to continue the next 3 games.
Yeah, I agree.
But offensively, I don't think that we were going to do anything real sexy or there wasn't just any reason to go deep into the playbook in that game because they couldn't score. They couldn't hardly cross midfield unless you turned the ball over. So it was one of those college games that people pay season tickets for. If you looked at the SEC slate this week, some of these teams like Arkansas's got Western Kentucky. And, I think it seems like Ole Miss has got some FCS team.
I mean, they might be on the bye week, but I don't know.
Bama always plays a crap game at the end of the year too. I think
they usually play theirs like before Auburn. Georgia usually plays theirs before Georgia Tech. Stuff like that. Yeah.
And they just that's something. I don't have any problem with cupcakes, at least to an extent.
But I don't like them at the end of the year. Yeah.
That's right. There is no way in hell they ought to be playing games like that this time of year. It's absurd. And
I think the first week in November should be the deadline for games like that.
I don't know what you do. I would say you need to be done with them in September if it's me. I'm dead serious. But because the problem is like if you've got a team that has a bad year, like we look to be doing. Just think let's take Arkansas. Who in the hell's going to go to that game?
The players' parents, and that's about it.
I mean, seriously, if it's early in the year, you're going to have people that haven't totally bailed on the team if the team is terrible. If Tennessee, if we had dropped all these games, say we hadn't won any of them since that BYU game.
Yeah, say we're like, let's see.
Chattanooga, so maybe we've won 1.
So we're like 1-7.
Yeah, something like that. A total disaster. Well, how many people are they going to get to UAB for the homecoming game?
Not many.
And plus the weather starts turning. You might have a bad, it's just they need to play those games. It's fine to do them. You don't have preseason like you do in the NFL. But that's how they need to be treated as preseason games, which is unfortunately what Pruitt and his staff did against Georgia State.
Yeah, they literally treated them like preseason games. Just think if we had beaten BYU and Georgia State, we'd be 6-3 right now.
I know it, man. I mean, it's hard to believe. I mean, I've said for a while that it looks like Vandy's not going to be a problem, but you never know. Even let's say you get beat by Kentucky, and then you go to Missouri and get beat. Well, they might go right back to what they did last year and lay down, and Vandy beat you again. And then all of a sudden,
you finish 4-8.
I mean, just imagine, and that's in play. This team is not good enough to assume anything. So this is an important game for Pruitt. It's a big one.
So about this 3-game stretch, I was on BVD's live stream Sunday night, and one thing he asked me was about the 3-game stretch, or I gave my opinion. I said I think we're going to win 2 out of 3. I don't know who we're going to beat. I think we beat Vandy and then beat either Kentucky or Missouri, and we finished 6-6. He wanted to know what your opinion was on that. So, what is your opinion on that?
Say that one more time. Send the phone cut out a little bit.
So this 3-game stretch of Kentucky, Missouri, and Vandy, what do you think we finish?
I don't know. I mean, I think we'll win them all, but I think if you win tomorrow or Saturday, you'll win them all.
So it depends on Saturday?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think it's everything. And then I think if you lose to Kentucky, you probably lose to Missouri, and the Vanderbilt game will be a toss-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I think we beat Vandy. They beat Vandy either way. I don't know. But Vandy's pretty bad right now. It's pretty bad over on West End right now. But
yeah, I mean I saw a thing of it that I don't know where I saw this. It couldn't have been on Twitter since I'm not on there right now. Where there were some rumors of Jeff Fisher potentially being the next coach of Vandy.
And who cares at this point? Like, if that happened, they were kind of talking about this on Reed's Ranch. I don't remember if it was this week or last week, but I was agreeing with him. If that happened, I feel like it would just be the most boring football I've ever watched in my life. Just because of like the offense he runs and like the caliber of players that are at Vandy, aren't the caliber of players he had with the Titans or anything like that. So, I just feel like they're not going to do much with that, and it's just going to be boring to watch. But I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
I agree with you on that too.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty much dead on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but one thing that was nice to see, I thought, on Saturday was Bryce Thompson getting those 3 picks. Kind of a redemption story this year. With him getting arrested and then just coming back and doing this. Obviously, him and Jawan are 2 guys that have made the most of second chances, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, Bryce playing well is important in that last year you were thinking, okay, maybe this is an All-American candidate. Maybe he's a first-round draft pick. And then you wonder, and that he may have blown that as far as going in the first round with what happened, but you still need him to play at a high level.
Yeah.
And particularly, I'm talking more as far as next year.
Yeah.
And the same goes for, Alontae Taylor, too, who has largely played well since that BYU debacle. Mm-hmm. So I think that's critical for next year if we're going to make the improvements that we want.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that's kind of away from the game, I don't know if you know. Well, I'll say this first. It was also nice to see Eric Gray coming back and appearing a little bit more, and him finally getting his first touchdown. So that was nice to see also, I thought. But, I think the key with him is he's got to stay consistent as to where, in practice, he's got to have enough practice reps to where they can put him on the field. And obviously that's not been happening. So I think they need to give him more reps.
Who are you talking about now? Maurer?
No, Eric Gray.
Oh, Gray. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a big story that's really not been talked about much. I mean, he's just not he did get the touchdown. But, I mean, as far as when he gets the ball in the backfield, he's just not doing anything with it, and hadn't for weeks. A long, long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this is kind of a story that's outside of the game, but it was still a pretty big loss for Tennessee. I don't know if you saw that Jay Hardy, who Tennessee pretty much thought they had wrapped up, commits to Auburn. Chattanooga kid, that's a big loss. I'm pretty sure he's a 4-star, like 6'4".
Yeah, I mean, he's probably as far as defensive line recruits,
he's one of the best in the country.
Well, out of Chattanooga specifically, I don't know that we've tried to get a kid out of that city's at defensive line since Reggie White. If you want to put that in perspective a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a done deal. I mean, we may still flip him, but it's concerning. When you lose a recruit to Auburn, I'm telling you right now, it's about money. I don't care what anybody says.
Why? Because they have more money than us, or what do you mean?
Recruiting is dirty, Christian.
Well, yeah.
There's something going on behind the scenes. Why he's decided he wants to go there. Believe me.
I mean, yeah, I think so too. I mean, considering now that you say that, I think so too. I mean, considering on Saturday he basically, after that visit, he was basically locked into Tennessee, and then all of a sudden Wednesday he just decides, you know what, I want to go to Auburn. He's been to Tennessee, I think, at least 5 times, and then he just decides he wants to go to Auburn out of the blue. So I kind of agree with you.
It's a classic Auburn move that I've seen many times in my soon to be 49 years.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they flip him. One thing that Pruitt is going to have to get his arms around is he's got some coaches on that staff that aren't pulling their weight recruiting wise, that aren't getting anything done on the recruiting trail. And he's going to have to shake up the staff, in my opinion. I mean, he's got some guys that are really good recruiters, but
Moose.
Some of those guys like Chris Winkie in particular, Tracy Rocker, they need to be going. They're not helping. They're not helping in the positions they're coaching, and they're definitely not bringing in top level talent. They need to be gone.
Yeah. So you said Winkie and who else?
Tracy Rocker in particular. That's 2 for. Ironically enough, Rocker went to Auburn.
Yeah. Well, we can't complain about Niedermeyer, that's for sure.
He's not done much on this current class, I'll tell you that. Now,
well, Darnell Washington out of Las Vegas is considering us, and we're in there with like Oregon, Bama, all the schools like that, and we're like second to Georgia right now, I'm pretty sure, with him, basically. He hasn't committed yet, but I don't remember if he's this year or next year's class, but he's like a 5-star tight end. So that would be a huge get for us if we could
There's
get
still
him.
a pretty good way to signing day. And,
yeah.
I mean, so it's not – nothing is set in stone. They still got a chance to pull together a top 10 class. It could happen. But I'll tell you right now, they can't lose any of these 3 games.
Yeah, for sure.
They can't do it. And they need to – I don't know what bowl we'll get, but they'll probably get us one that we don't deserve. I don't think it'd be a Music City deal or even a Liberty.
Well, nowadays Music City would be for a team like us. That's – 6-6 or 7-5.
I got a feeling that you're right. I mean, that's where you would typically slot us, but I got a feeling they might bump us to a bowl that we probably don't deserve to go to. If we could finish this thing out.
What I saw, it was either last week or a couple weeks ago, was like the Gator Bowl against like Iowa or Indiana.
So that would be great. I mean, that would be great. I mean, that's the kind of thing you want to do, and then you need to get in there and beat their ass.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you can pull a top 10 class still.
Yeah. One thing though. If we played someone like Indiana, I mean, people are going to say I'm stupid for this, but Indiana is good. They're like 7-2. But
they're it's hard to say.
Yeah, they are in the Big Ten.
They certainly look better than they usually are. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know why I just said that too, but I think getting to a bowl game's huge right now, and not just getting to a bowl game, but I think if it's a quality bowl game, I think it helps you on the recruiting trail. Hopefully we play someone we're at least capable of just thrashing, and hopefully that happens. Kind of like obviously Butch Jones didn't work out, but kind of like that. When we played Iowa in the Gator Bowl, in Butch's second year, killed him.
You're right. I mean, usually, because that's a good example, we went down there and hammered them, and it looked like. But having said that, we did start out that next year great. After that happened, it looked like that was going to be a springboard to things, and it doesn't always mean that. But what it will do, if you win these 3 and win your bowl, you'll definitely end up in a way better place recruiting wise in February than what it looks like right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well, Tennessee's heading to, as Reed called it, historic Kroger Field Saturday. It's going to be about 19 degrees probably.
Well, I looked at that because it usually is. I mean, that's good. The history is every time we go up there, it's for a reason, and it's going to be.
Let's look at the temperature real quick.
Like around 40 at kickoff, and probably right around 32. So it's not going to be fun to be there, but it's not going to be just brutally cold. Not a lot of wind, so it shouldn't. You shouldn't have kids that just want to get the hell home, which that's happened a few times.
Low of 37. That's not too terrible.
No, that's very manageable.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at this game, Kentucky cannot do anything really throwing the football with their quarterback situation. Even if they bring Sawyer Smith out there, I mean, he's not been good when he's played. Mm-hmm. If they end up just sticking with Bowden, the wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So what you've got to do is the same thing you did last year. Just take the run away from them.
Yeah.
Make them throw it. If you do that, you'll beat them. I think it's that simple. The other thing is you can't give them any cheap points. You can't turn the ball over on your side of the field because I can actually tell you. I just had this pulled up.
How many yards did Snell have in that game last year?
Say that again.
How many yards did Snell have in that game last year? Wasn't it like 30 maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't even 50 yards. I mean, we totally shut him down, and he was a tornado first, early in that season. So it was a great defensive effort. I thought that game would play better than the Auburn game. If you want to know the truth.
Yeah, I honestly kind of did too. Because we completely shut them down, and it was like their best team ever. So, I don't know. Let me see here. I'm trying to see how many rushing yards they had as a team. Let's see, box score. As a team, no, this is still, yeah. Benny Snell had 81 yards on 20 carries, which is nowhere near what he usually was doing last year.
He had 80 yards, really. I didn't think he was doing that many.
81 yards on 20 carries. Huh. But for a team, rushing yards was 77 to our 215, which doesn't make any sense considering I think that stat's wrong. How did they have 77 rushing yards, but Snell had 81?
Well, whatever the case, I mean, they didn't do much on the ground, and that's the only way they can win. I mean, they average over 200 yards a game, so I'd say that's right around the top of the league.
Yeah.
But if you shut him down, then or shut the run down, I just don't see how they can beat you.
Yeah, I agree. Well, do you want to go ahead and do our picks here? Or do you have anything else to talk about?
Let's do that. Give me 1 second here while you're getting that together. I've got to do something real quick. If you can pause it, that's fine too. Or
right.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll take our commercial break. We'll go ahead and pause it real quick.
Commercial break.
All right, so we're back. Moving on. We're going to be doing our spread picks like we do every week. Last week I went 3-2 against the spread. So did Cowboy. And now in the year I'm 19-21 and Cowboy's 24-16. So he still has a 5-game lead on me. This thing's over. I don't even know why we do this anymore. All right, first game: Vanderbilt at Florida. Florida minus 26.
Yeah, I'd say Florida will probably cover that game. I wouldn't be shocked if Vandy stays in it because Florida season's over now after that Georgia loss. And they're probably not going to be real motivated. But
that's why I'm taking Vandy. I think Florida's not very motivated and they come out flat and Vandy keeps it under 26. I think Florida probably wins by like 21.
I can see either way, but I'll go ahead and stick with Florida.
All right, we'll save that for later. Penn State at Minnesota. Minnesota plus 6.5.
I mean, I think Penn State will hammer them. They're going to get a dose of reality tomorrow. or Saturday.
Yeah.
Have you seen Minnesota's schedule?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very much.
Oh my God!
Didn't they go to overtime with the FCS team?
They've won them all. Which,
yeah.
There's plenty of teams that can't say that, but I feel like Penn State's really good. I don't think they're getting enough credit, and I think they're as well coached as anybody in the country, and they'll win that game.
I think Penn State wins by a touchdown, which would be covering. So
at least I'd say 10-14, but I'll lay those points.
Yeah. All right. Iowa at Wisconsin. Wisconsin -9.
Well, I don't know at all, man. I'll take Iowa and take those points.
I didn't really think about this, to be honest. So you'll take Iowa. I'll take Iowa too. I think that line's pretty big. I don't think Wisconsin will absolutely dominate that game or anything. I think that line's pretty big, so I'll take Iowa there too. Tennessee versus Kentucky. Kentucky -1. So basically a pick 'em.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, we already kind of did a little preview. We didn't talk tons about it, but we gave it kind of the keys. I mean, the other thing is not only you can't turn the ball over on your side. That's true of any game, and it's cliche, but I mean that's going to be critical that you don't give Kentucky cheap points and give them confidence. The other thing is that it continues to be a problem, has been all years. Our red zone offense just stinks.
Yeah.
And when we get down there inside 20, we got to cash that in and get touchdowns. If you get up on them early, they'll quit. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Or at least two teams this weekend that are early start is crucial: Tennessee and LSU.
I think that's right on, son.
Yeah.
I think it's right on. Yeah, LSU needs early success as well, and it's not that we can't. If we don't, it's not like it's a sure loss, but you can put them away in the first quarter. I really believe you can. But you still got the same thing that we've been talking about for 8-9 weeks now, where the quarterback position changes everything, and it's going to be a kid out there named JG with a cast on his hand, it sounds like. Realize that, how they'll clap their hands to get the snap?
Yeah.
Well, they can't even do that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why we don't just play Maurer.
I don't see. Play Shrouch.
Or Maurer.
What is so hard about that? I don't get it. I really don't. If Maurer is not good to go, and I really don't blame him there. If the kid's had 2 concussions in 2 games, it'd be one thing if they didn't have any other options.
They do.
And I just don't see why they're so stubborn about it. But,
I don't either.
I don't know, man. If we lose, I guarantee you next week will be one of the reasons we're going to be talking about why it happened. It's going to be Guarantano. It will be.
Most likely.
Yeah.
So Tennessee or Kentucky?
Oh, I'll take Tennessee. I mean, I feel like we're better, so that's
okay.
Hopefully it'll work out.
Let me get this quarter. Heads Tennessee, tails Kentucky. Heads. I'm taking Tennessee. I mean, at this point, do you really blame me for doing that?
No.
All right, last game we're going to talk about, game of the year in college football. LSU at Alabama, Alabama -6.
Yeah. I've been on LSU all year. They've not won in that place since 2013, maybe?
It was 11. 11.
2011.
Last time they won there was the 1-2 matchup.
Yeah. When it was, and then
that was the last time they beat Bama, actually. Yeah.
I think I talked to one of my buddies that's an Alabama fan. I think he told me they haven't even scored a touchdown in the last two meetings they played in.
They haven't even scored the last 2 meetings, I don't think.
Maybe. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look.
I don't think they scored. If it haven't scored a touchdown in the last 2 meetings, it's the last 3 then. Because
I
know 16 it was 10-0 Bama, and then 18 it was. So last year it was like 29-0. So.
this is a very different LSU team, it appears.
Yeah.
Their offense is a marvel. I mean, they look like, I'm trying to think of, they remind me of maybe the Packers when Rodgers has really got it going. I mean, that's what Burrow looks like at times out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so accurate, especially on those deep passes. I mean, it's like he could almost, he couldn't hand it out there to them any better. They're right in their hands in a perfect spot.
Yeah.
And the other part about that is Bama's defense is way far from what it usually is. So LSU ought to be able to compete. It's just, how do you pick against Bama in that building? I mean, they've lost 3 games in like, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
They've won 33 straight in there.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, you might say, well, they're due. They're sooner or later they're going to lose. And they are. I don't know who's going to do it.
Yeah.
Can Bama cover the 6? I mean, I could see this being 6.5 or 6.
It's 6. I have LSU covering. I'm not going to say 100% yet whether I have LSU winning or not, because I've been thinking about this game all week, and I just cannot decide who I think is going to win this game. Like, I haven't even done my college picks yet that I usually do on the channel, and I haven't even decided yet. Like, I honestly don't know who's going to win this game.
I just can't. I'd like to pick LSU. I certainly hope they win it, and I do enjoy watching them play.
Well, hey, this is against the spread, so you don't have to say that they're going to win or lose. You just have to say if they're going to cover.
That tells me they're just not going to. I think they lose in like 37-30, something like that.
So by a touchdown?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bama.
I think LSU, I think it's a field goal game either way. Personally, I think it comes down to a last-second field goal. And whether that be Alabama or LSU, making or missing that field goal, I think it's a field goal game either way.
Right.
And like I said earlier, I think if LSU gets off to a fast start and figures out, we can score on these dudes and get some confidence, I think it's a very close game, and LSU might end up winning. Like, honestly, I think the first quarter is going to decide this game, honestly. I think if, it's tied 0-0 at the end of the first, and obviously that's not going to tell us much, but the first quarter of this game is pivotal, I think. So.
Yeah, it could be. Man, you would think that LSU would need to get some early confidence, but something tells me that quarterback, he just looks like a different breed. I don't think anything's going to phase him. I mean, they don't want to get down 21-0. I'll tell you that. But if things go bad early, as long as it's not a catastrophe, I think they can weather the storm. It's just, I just can't. I'm trying to approach this like if I was gambling real money, and I just couldn't.
Yeah,
lay money on LSU.
If you're betting your house on it, you're not going to bet against Bama.
I couldn't do it. No.
Yeah. All right. So, would you like to talk about college basketball next, or the high school playoffs?
Man, college basketball. I can't believe anybody's watching that crap. Man, I saw so Kentucky beat Michigan State. Is that right?
Okay. Remember this name. Tyrese Maxey. He looked like John Wall out there. And you know what I said to myself? I said, of course he looks like John Wall. Because it's Kentucky.
Well.
Now, it is just one game, but still, he looked very impressive Tuesday night.
And then didn't Kansas get beat too?
Yeah, Kansas, guess how many turnovers they had in that game against Duke?
How many?
28.
I mean, God, but it's so early. It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. It might affect seeding a little bit. But
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, both those teams are either going to be a 1 or a 2. They will be.
All of them? All 4 of them?
Yeah. I'd about bet my life on it. And so, it's 28 turnovers just tells you it's a team. It's a first game, and those things happen sometimes. So I wouldn't make much of it at all. I saw Tennessee beat UNC Asheville, which doesn't tell you anything either.
Did you watch the highlights of that game or anything? Or
yeah, they returned a lot of turnovers. I mean,
yeah. especially from Turner and Bowden, which was concerning.
Yeah, Bowden and Turner both had kind of rough games as far as ball handling, but they were up 25 before they kind of shut it down. So
yeah, one thing that was also concerning, I thought, was James wasn't really much of a factor, but it was his first real college game, so you got to give him some time to get used to it, I guess. But right now, I mean, some people are saying that he might be a lottery pick. I don't think he looked like a lottery pick at all.
No.
He looks like he'll be there at least one more year.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Likely.
And honestly, that makes me really excited because with this recruiting class that Barnes has put together, if we got James, and those 3 kids we got in that recruiting class, we are going to be freaking awesome next year in basketball.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if those guys are as good as they say, I mean, it could really be something else.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw James Wiseman actually played for Memphis the other night. He put up like 28, but it was against like South Carolina State, so who really cares? But
right.
We do play them like December 14th, I think it is, in Knoxville. So that's the game I'm looking forward to for Tennessee basketball right now. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this. This is the stupidest thing ever. So Tuesday night and Wednesday night, the stupid ACC, they were playing conference games.
I saw it, man. It's Virginia and Syracuse, and Syracuse scored like 30 points.
Oh my gosh. Notre Dame was yeah. Cole Anthony for North Carolina. I'm pretty sure he outscored Syracuse's scoring against Virginia. I'm pretty sure he outscored Syracuse against Virginia when he played against Notre Dame on Wednesday night.
Yeah, when I got to work this morning, I usually have some time to read some stuff, and Jim Boeheim was just raising Cain about the fact that they were playing that game to start the year. He's usually Mr. Crybaby.
Mm-hmm.
But
He's right. Yeah.
Stupid.
It's stupid.
It is. It's absolute insanity. I can't even imagine what they're thinking.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we can talk a little Tennessee football playoffs right now. We're only going to talk 6A because that's, the teams we care about, that's what classification they're in.
Right.
If you're not in the state of Tennessee, you're not really going to know what we're talking about here, but just go with it. Well, obviously we know who's going to win 4A. We'll say that. Greenville, obviously. But anyway, so yeah, playoffs start Friday. Do you have any initial thoughts about them?
Well, I mean, it's tough because
Do you have the bracket?
Yeah, I've looked at it.
Okay.
I mean,
I didn't know if you wanted me to send it to you real quick.
And it just feels like it's going to come down to Oakland and Maryville. Now, I don't know what they got in Memphis. There's usually somebody pretty good.
Whitehaven.
Yeah. But it's been the Maryville Invitational for a long time, even since Quarles left. I mean, they don't win it every year now, but they're going to be the team to beat, and whoever takes them out is going to be looking pretty good if they can.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll go ahead and give my quarterfinals predictions. I'll just go ahead and go quarterfinals all the way to the championship. So quarters, Maryville over DB. That doesn't really need an explanation. DB's had a good year this year, but obviously Maryville's that game would be at DB just because of the way the bracket's set up. But I still think Maryville will win that game pretty easily. Oakland over Blackman. They played earlier in the year. Blackman lost 40-0 at home. This game would be at Oakland. Obviously, I think it would be actually a little closer. I think Blackman might find a way to keep it closer if that happened again, but I still think Oakland wins. Ravenwood over Brentwood. That would be at Ravenwood. I saw Ravenwood in person. I think they got a lot of good athletes on that team. One of the most talented teams in the state, in my opinion. So I'm going with Brentwood's had a pretty good year too at 8-2, but I think Ravenwood moves on there. And by the way, don't think I know these records off the top of my head. They're on the bracket.
Right.
Yeah, Whitehaven over Houston. Houston is 10-0. I didn't even know. If I'm being honest, no offense if you're listening from Houston, but I didn't even know that was a school.
It's Germantown, Houston. It's a suburb of Memphis.
Yeah, they played Germantown in the first round. Germantown, guess what their record is?
3-7.
2-8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still in the playoffs though.
Yeah, because they were 4th in Region 8. Yeah, I got Whitehaven over Houston. That game will be at Houston, but I got Whitehaven there. Kind of like Ravenwood. They're one of the most talented teams in the state, so I'll advance Whitehaven there. Semifinals, I've got Oakland over Maryville. I think this Oakland team is even better than the one that won state last year. I saw them in person. They just absolutely manhandled Blackman, who's a much better team than their record, in my opinion. And, this year it would be at Maryville because the way the bracket's set up, but I think Oakland wins there. Other semifinal matchup would be Whitehaven at Ravenwood. I'm taking Ravenwood there. I think, both those teams are really good, but I just think Ravenwood would find a way to get it done. Mainly because it's at Ravenwood, they wouldn't have to travel. That's the main thing I took into consideration there, is that it would be at Ravenwood and they wouldn't have to travel. But then my state championship is Oakland over Ravenwood. I just don't see any team besides maybe Maryville that's beating this Oakland team this year in 6A. So, would you agree or disagree with all of that? Or
I mean, you know more about it than me, but that sounds about right. I mean, that's been the story for years. Is somebody can take out Maryville, and Oakland's been able to do that, and they've been dominant. I mean, every game has been 30 points and more, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
And listen, they're not playing. Maryville had a little limb.
Actually, no. Riverdale actually only lost to them 31-14. Oakland.
Okay, and so Riverdale's a pretty decent team.
Yeah, so, Riverdale finished 7-2 or 7-3.
They're hammering everybody in Middle Tennessee, and that's good competition. So that's what you laid out there sounds like what I would probably pick too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is it even worth talking about the Titans?
No, I don't think it is. It's a lost season. It's a lost franchise. I mean,
fire Mike Vrabel. That's basically all we really need to say, right?
As I said before, son, it's going to go deeper than that. I mean, you look at the people. Somebody hired Mike Vrabel. It's the people that keep hiring.
Yeah, we're just going to have to blow this whole thing up. Not literally, obviously, but
they need new ownership is what they need.
Yeah.
And that's probably never going to happen. So, what I would be concerned about is this team continues to just be. They're starting to get like the Lions, where they're
perfect comparison.
Yeah, 6-10, 7-9, 8-8.
Just mediocre.
Seasons.
Yeah.
And it just kind of keeps you in the middle of the league where you never. It's hard to rebuild anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to rebuild when you finish 8-8 every year, because it doesn't really get you a bad draft pick, but it doesn't get you a great draft pick either, where you can go get a guy like Joe Burrow or something.
They did take second to get Mariota, and they screwed that up.
Mm-hmm.
They screwed it up when they got Walker. They screwed it up when they had Vince Young. I mean, they've had a lot of at-bats here to give this to make this work, and it's not even came close to working with any of those guys.
Only positive I will say right now is in this draft class, I don't think it's going to matter where our draft, where our position is. This is a very deep class in at the quarterback position, so there are options out there is what I'm trying to say.
There should be.
One thing I look at is, you look at what Baltimore's been able to do with Lamar Jackson right now.
Yeah.
I seriously would strongly consider Jalen Hurts. Call me crazy, but I'm looking at what Lamar Jackson's doing. I know they kind of have different body types, but they have the same kind of game, and I'm looking at what Baltimore's doing with Lamar Jackson, and I'm taking that into consideration.
I mean, I don't know, man. Jackson's he's got like world-class speed. I'm not sure he couldn't run in the Olympics if he put his mind to it.
Yeah.
Hurts is a good athlete. I don't really understand. I saw a thing today where Mel Kiper thinks he's not even a first-round pick. The Hurts will go in the 4th or 5th round. I don't understand that. What's the difference between what Hurts is doing and what what's the kid at the Cardinals now that won the Heisman last year?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah. What's the difference?
Murray's faster. That's the one downside about Hurts is he's not very fast.
Yeah. So.
But
he's still doing everything that Mayfield did, that Murray did, that Bradford did before that. My point is, don't tell me that Murray is a number 1 pick in the draft and Hurts is a 5th round pick. I don't understand how that can be. They ought to be pretty similar in terms of as a prospect, what you think you can get out of them. But Hurts, I mean, it just goes to show you what coaching will do. I mean, I never would have thought he could do what he's doing at Oklahoma. I mean, he just wasn't that good at Alabama for the most part.
Yeah.
He was good, but he didn't look like he looks now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So you're right. There's quarterbacks out there. I mean, Burrow will be gone. Tua will be gone. But there's other.
Fromm might be available.
Yeah, possibly. I wouldn't touch him with the 10th pole.
I wouldn't either.
You got the kid from Oregon too, Justin Herbert, who
he might be available. I don't know.
Well, he was for most mock drafts. He was the presumed number 1. A lot of the ones I've seen now, they're putting Burrow there, which I don't really know about that one either. But to your point, there will be some chances to get somebody. You might have to trade up to do it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Herbert were to fall to like 6, 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
If the Titans would go with another Oregon quarterback.
If we draft Justin Herbert, not just because, I think he's a good quarterback, but just because he's an Oregon quarterback, I would just be like, it's happening again. We're doing it again.
Well, he's an entirely different player than Mariota.
No, I know. I agree. But
that would be in the back of their mind, I'd say.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a different offense from when Mariota was there and when Herbert was there. But,
entirely.
Yeah.
And he's more of a pocket passer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good athlete. I mean, he looks, to me, I'm going to tell you who he reminds me of is Locker. He looks a lot like Jake Locker to me. And, I never thought Locker was going to make it. I wanted him to. He's a great kid. But
see, every time you say that name, I just sigh inside.
Well,
every time I hear the name Jake Locker, I'm just like...
Locker was one of those guys that's just a great athlete. He's the best player in baseball, basketball, whatever they were playing, he was better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But he was not accurate. And when he played good teams at Washington, he got exposed against good defenses. And it was obvious as the nose on your face. And
when did we pick him?
I don't know. 2010, maybe?
No, I'm saying like when in the draft. Like
I think like 8, somewhere in there. Might have been 15. It
somewhere
in
the middle of first round.
Yeah, that's my memory of it.
Yeah. Well, since the last time we had a podcast, the Washington Nationals won the World Series.
Yeah.
Man, what a game from Max Scherzer in Game 7.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, road team wins every game. Never happened before in professional sports history.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to believe that the way that thing got started, and then with Houston turns it around, and they're able to come in there with their 2 horses, and they still couldn't close the deal.
Yeah.
And then Hinch leaving Cole on the bench, or leaving him on the bullpen at the end of that game.
He basically just lost Cole in free agency, like in that game.
Well, I don't know if he's going to sign with them or not.
I'm telling you, there is no way he re-signs with them just because of that.
I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think he's gone either way. But he's looking for huge money. His agent is a dick, Scott Boras. But which, I mean, I guess that's his job, is to get as much as he can. But
yeah.
You gotta bring him out of the bullpen or leave Greinke in the game. I still didn't. I didn't see any problem with that really. I mean, he gave up the home run, I know, and then walked a guy, but it still didn't seem like he was struggling. But at that point, you got to go to Cole when it's a 1-run game and see if he can give you 8 more outs. This is all he needed to win the thing.
Yeah.
And I think you would have got him. I really do. But never know.
Yeah, it's just one player I am happy for is Strasburg. You know, he's always been one of my favorite players. Strasburg has, so I'm glad he finally got a World Series. You know, him and Scherzer both have always been pretty good guys, so I'm glad they finally got them one.
I mean, he outpitched Scherzer in this postseason, really, and he's a free agent too. He's going to make big money also. So yeah, I mean, Strasburg is one of those guys that he was supposed to be Cy Young and Nolan Ryan rolled into one and had some injury trouble, but I mean, he's been lights out for about the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And so yeah, probably overcame a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
And hung in there, and he finally met his potential, and that's always a good thing.
Yep. Did you hear about what happened last night with Kawhi Leonard? Do you have any opinion on that?
Or they're sitting him down and not playing him on back-to-backs?
Yeah.
I can care less. I think the NBA is getting exactly what it deserves. It's a crap league with crap players, with crap owners, with crap coaches. It's a crap game. I don't care anything about it. And it's exactly what they deserve, playing 82 friggin' games a year. Who in the hell needs to see that many games?
Well,
and then all those best of 7 series in the playoffs. It's ridiculous. I don't blame them a bit for not playing. I'm surprised it don't happen all the time.
Well, this turned dark quick. I didn't expect him to just completely bash the NBA, but okay.
I mean, he's got injury problems, and he's a little bit fragile. I mean, why does he need to be playing back-to-back games in November? Why?
Yeah.
Why does anybody need to be doing it? They don't. That's the answer.
Yeah. I just think my opinion on it is, just as a fan, you know, I'm not really a Clippers fan or anything, but, you know, I turned on the TV last night. You know, I was looking for something to watch. I'm like, oh, Bucks Clippers. This ought to be interesting. It's Kawhi against Giannis. And then I'm like, where's Kawhi at? And I saw him sitting there on the bench, and it's just like, what am I even watching this for now? You know?
Yeah, and you're right. And think about fans. Where was that game at?
Yeah.
Milwaukee
It was in LA. But
I mean, think about people that might have, you know, saved a lot of money to go to see one game that they can freaking afford to go to, and they sit them down just to rest. It exposes basketball for what it is, and this is true of college too.
Yeah,
the games don't mean anything until the playoffs.
It's a tournament sport.
It's a tournament sport.
Yep.
And that's why real men watch football. Because it's once a week, and they all count.
Well, since you haven't been watching any NBA, I'll give my insight. The Warriors suck.
Oh, my God. You talk about a train wreck, but go ahead.
The Lakers haven't lost since opening night, and the Grizzlies are decent, but, you know, still lots of room to improve. The Rockets look dysfunctional. I don't care that they're 5-3. Let's see. Celtics top of the East. Milwaukee's like a half game back of them, though. But I'm still pretty strong in the Sixers. I still think they're the team to beat in this whole league.
Do you really?
Yeah. My finals prediction was Sixers over Lakers. But real quick, here's some news for you. The Raiders beat the Chargers 26-24. The Raiders now moved to 5-4 on the year.
God, man, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
The Raiders are still breathing.
They're still in this thing, yeah.
Really breathing down the neck of Kansas City.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that when this season started?
Yeah, that's crazy.
God, how in the world? And San Diego's done. That's another crap organization.
I would correct you for saying San Diego, but at this point, I don't even care that no one goes to their games. Go ahead and say San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they are. I don't care what those idiot owners want to do. But how in the world did they beat Green Bay last week?
I have no idea.
Me either.
I'll just talk like 2 seconds about hockey. The Predators are losing 8-4 to the Avalanche right now. That's about all you need to know. But, you know, they're still, 9-4-2. So, I mean, we're still having a good year. We're like second in the Central right now to the Blues. And, I mean, You talk about a sport that doesn't matter until the playoffs. If we're really being honest.
Yeah, it's the same thing. They play 82 games as well, and they don't need to do that.
Yeah, I mean.
And they do it for money, and all they do is cut their nose off to spite their face. Out of 50 games even, it's probably too many
48.
for sports.
Yeah.
But the Preds, they're doing what I've complained about since they've been here. And I say here in Tennessee, is score. They can really score the goal.
You said they're the number 2 offense in the NHL right now, correct?
They are indeed.
Yeah, to Washington.
And now they're not getting good goaltending, or at least not what they've been getting.
Yeah.
So, but that could change. We get a hot goalie. So the Predators are going to be around. They've got a good foundation. They got good coaches. It's a good organization, very different than the Titans, and they're going to be a factor come May. I would think, unless they get a lot of injuries.
I mean, we thought that last year, and we know what happened.
Yeah, well, they made the playoffs, and it didn't work out well. But you're not going to make the finals every year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
They definitely are in the top. I mean,
and especially since last year, every division winner lost in the first round. So
if you ask that's right. So if you ask any person that really follows hockey, all right, give me your 8 teams that you think could win the Stanley Cup. I bet anybody would tell you.
Most of them are going to say the Predators.
Put Nashville in that 8. I would think.
Yeah. Or at least 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Well, we've gone like 52 minutes almost, so we've probably gone a little too long. But anything else you want to say before we go?
Nah, we've tagged them all, buddy.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hopefully Tennessee can get a win against Kentucky this Saturday. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.